everyone, Breena Martinez here, and I am sitting next to the champ right here. Two-time figure Olympia champion. And there's so much more to Cyd than just that. So if you didn't know, all right, this is a student athlete at its finest, okay? University of Penn, track, hurdles, okay? And if that wasn't enough, sorority, 2 jobs, and then that didn't stop there, still was competing, ended up moving cross country to go to USC. And if it wasn't enough, she's like, I think I want to get my degree and do it a semester earlier than everybody else and still go to Olympia and smash. So for everybody that wants to say, I don't have time, right. I gotta work, I've got homework. I'll tell you right now, you can't sit next to her. You can't have that conversation, and that's what I freaking love so much about you, because even though I didn't get a chance to really meet you in person, but from afar, just reading and watching your journey, it made me want to level up. And then watching you work, I was just like, and how you're so precise with every single thing you do. I mean, down to, I don't care if it's rinsing your chicken, measuring salt, everything. So now that, everyone has a little intro about Cyd, I want to know from the champ, define what it means to be a champion.
I think for me, the type of champion that I always wanted to be, I always looked to people like Lee Haney. Because I grew up around him a lot. His daughter and I went to preschool together. And as I started out in the NPC, because I started out in other organizations first, and I came over to the NPC at 18. And I came into my second NPC show, and that's when I started talking to him more. But just seeing how he was always out. Always talking to people, always trying to give a listening ear and give advice. And I was like, okay, that's the champion that I want to be. So I think it's about always remaining humble, because you see a lot of people just get the big head. And I always feel like that's just not cute. It's not. It's never going to be. That's never going to be me. That's just not what you should do. I feel like you should always be approachable. Yeah, there's times where, you want to get your workout in and everything like that. But when it comes to the overall thing of just being a champion, people should be able to come up to you, ask you advice, ask you questions, and you respond as if you are a regular person, which you are, which people need to realize, you ain't that special. So I think that's the key thing is, and I always keep that in my mind, you're not that special. You need to level up each and every time and show the type of person you want to be. So that's what I think about being a champion, is just being humble at all times, giving advice, and lifting other people up with you.
And you really do practice what you preach. I mean, you actually came up with the student athlete scholarship, and I mean, you have posing clients, and you're always just trying to give back. And I think that's what I love so much. Not just your work ethic, but you really are approachable. The first time I met her, I walked up to her at the airport. I was just starstruck emojis, oh my God, it's Cyd, and it felt like we were just best friends. I could just talk to you. And I thought that was the coolest thing, because when you hear of somebody who is so meticulous with their craft, sometimes they don't even have the time to talk to you. But that is so not you, and that's why I'm just so grateful, especially to sit here and talk with you and ask some questions. A lot of these questions are my own questions, because I'm nosy, but also because I think that a lot of people do want to know. It's okay, well, you are a unicorn. I mean, yes, I know that you say, I'm not special, but your work ethic cannot be touched. I'm just putting that out there now, even a lot of people consider me a hard worker. I always say, I'm no. No, you don't know Cyd, But I also, I'm not trying to chase that either. I feel like you have to find your own groove, your own way of doing things, and do it to the best of your ability. Right? So, all right, let's have a little bit of a fun question. Okay. So, do you think, taking everything into consideration, everything you've done as an athlete in college and now as you're prepping, is it easier to be single or in a relationship as a top athlete?
it depends what kind of single you are.
Mm.
There's single where you're focusing on yourself and you're about your business and you have everything laid out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's single in a bunch of situationships.
Situationships.
Okay.
I love it. Okay.
If you're going down that pathway in a bunch of situationships, that's causing more drama than a regular relationship. You got 10 relationships going on that you could just be focusing on yourself for. So if you're regular single, just really just focusing on your betterment, that's good. Now, when it comes to relationship, it depends on your spouse. Mm-hmm. If your spouse is super supportive and understands what you're going through and respects it, the respect part is going to be everything.
Keyword.
And you also have to be on the same wavelength. Like for me, growing up, I always had a rule. I never dated people who weren't athletes. Period. If like you didn't play a sport growing up, high school, middle school, I don't care. Yeah. Like we're not the same. And there's no point in time where you're going to understand what I'm going through if you're not an athlete. There's a certain mentality it takes to be an athlete.
Yeah.
And you're not going to understand it if you're not one.
That's just going to be problems.
Yeah. So each time I leveled up, it was like, okay, if I'm in middle school, my little boyfriend, he has to be on the track team too. All right, high school, you got to be in high school too. College, you got to be a college athlete too. When you get your pro card, boyfriend got to be a pro too. And that's just how my life has gone. My boyfriend is a pro now too. But he's also just super, like for me, it helps because, especially when you're getting close to the show, some people want to talk all the time and be on the phone with their man for 3 hours. I'm like, listen, babe, hey. I'll see you in 6 weeks. I got to go. Cut it. You know what it is. We're not going to be on the phone all day.
Yeah.
We can call and key real quick. Got to go.
Yeah, no.
But he understands that. So, like, it'd be different, especially if your dude wants to go out to dinner all the time. Listen, you need to get creative. When it comes to having a girlfriend or a spouse in general, just in prep, that's when it kind of tests your relationship in terms of how creative can you be to make sure it still stays spicy, but you're still sticking to your goals. And so I think having a spouse that's understanding and supportive is going to be the key thing. If they're not supportive, then it's better just to be single, because otherwise you're not going to have the enjoyment you could.
So true. So true. I mean, as coaches, we come across that all the time with athletes, and I mean, cortisol levels are high, drama, you're not sleeping, you're getting in fights because, you know, you're just not seeing eye to eye. So it just doesn't make sense, you know. So it's great to hear that, and I'm so glad that you shared that, because a lot of people need to understand that that support system is huge. Huge. Yes. So in your career, what's the greatest lesson that you've learned while competing?
I'd say that I carried over most of my lessons from track. That's my background. I've been running forever. But when it's more so once I got to college, I had this coach that was really, really instrumental in my growth, just mentally. And she always, the first quote she told me, because I would get like super huge bouts of anxiety before races.
Really?
Bad, like paralyzing. And then literally to the point where she looked at me one time, it was before Penn relays, we were about to run the 100 hurdle shuttle. It's like where your teammate goes, you go, and it's all with hurdles. Yeah. So I think it would have been different if I was a regular sprinter. Yeah. But the thing is with hurdles, you can work your off all day, every day, be the best hurdler. You hit a hurdle, your race is over. Anxiety, it's like, yeah, you might be great. Yeah, you work so hard. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. No matter what you do, it doesn't matter. So I think she really drilled into me to focus on myself. That's why I always literally stay in my lane. That's what I learned. In track, you stay in your lane. You going out your lane, you looking over at the next hurdle, you looking at the next person, you gonna bust your And I think once you realize that and take the lessons that you can learn, that I learned from track, I put that into bodybuilding. So now, like, as I was growing up and as I was going through the sport, I don't care what the next person is doing. That has nothing to do with me. I don't care what their prep looks like. I don't care how hard their Instagram profile looks. I don't care how hard they look like they working on Instagram. I don't care. It just doesn't matter, and it's not going to change how I'm going to work. So I think that was the main thing, to just focusing on myself, worry about yourself, do what you need to do, and that's all you need to worry about. Yeah,
because otherwise you're absorbing other people's energies.
Exactly.
You don't even know when that post was.
The lighting, the angles. I'm looking like, and that's one thing too. I'm real cognizant of like what I post on Instagram. It's like, I'm not finna filter nothing. If I got my cornrows out, I'm gonna have my cornrows
Amen.
out. If I got my baggy pants on with a pimple, you gonna see that too. Like, I'm not about the glitz and the glam. Like, yeah, I can get cute, but that's not me. 99% of the time, it's gonna be regular Joe Schmo, and that's how I like to keep it.
And I just gotta put an asterisk. I don't know if you've been on her Instagram page, but when this girl gets glammed up in photo shoot status, I was like, dang, move over, Tyra. Like,
I love my makeup, but it's not an everyday thing. I can't do it.
Yeah, girl, you and me both. I mean, I had to make sure I at least did my hair a little bit right now, but it would be up in a do-rag or bandana, you know. So how did you and Coach Damian start working together?
Okay, so let's take it back. We'll be about 4 years in December now. It was after, because we met. Because, you know, he makes his rounds around the show. So he makes his rounds.
In his J's.
Yeah, in his J's. Whole Jordan outfit. And he would always make fun of me. But this was after the initial meeting. Because I was, like, super ignorant. I didn't know what was going on. I just joined the IFBB. Well, I turned pro my third NPC show. So I'm just, like, out here winging it.
Right.
And so, like, my second year as a pro, I ended up at the Olympia. And then my first two Olympias, I had a nutritionist, but I was pretty much just winging everything I did. I was like, all right, let's just do it. Whatever we do, like, just get on the stage. And so that's kind of how I ended up. But then it was the second Olympia. My friend and I, she's a retired pro, but we couldn't find a table to sit at. There were no more seats left. And I was like, girl, I said, well, that's the empty seat right there. So she was like, 2 of them. So I said, okay. So we ran over and we just sat down.
Yeah.
Looked to my left. At the time, I didn't know who they were. It was Damian, Whit, Shannon Day, and then it was like Candace and Lewis and her husband over here in the corner, and then me and my friend. We didn't really know anybody. We were new. We were just like, whatever. It's our second Olympia, like, whatever. And then that's when he introduced himself. So that was the very first time we met.
Wow.
So I didn't think anything of it. I kept it moving. And then, because I'm still just doing my own thing. I didn't know any better.
Staying in your lane.
Stay in my lane. And then, like, he would make rounds of the shows and make fun of me. And so I was like, oh, he's kind of cool. Yeah. And then, so I left it at that. And then I remember one time, I think, what was it? What was that final conversation? I think he was speaking to me about, like, just progressing in the sport. And I was like, oh, I never had a coach like that. So I was like, that could be interesting.
Yeah.
But, so the thing is, my mom and I are like this.
Yeah.
If you don't go through my mom, we're not
that.
going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I was like, so he sold me on the idea. I said, okay, all right, I'm good. But you gotta talk to my mama. He was like, okay. So next thing you know, they were on the phone. And I was like, I like him.
Oh, good. That's awesome.
And then that's pretty much how we got started. And we had our first show together is when I got my first top 5 at the top level. Yeah, that was the first. Yeah, the top 5 at the Arnold that year, and that started our streak.
What was so different? Like when you were by yourself?
Eating.
So was the food. Dang.
I was under eating. He straight up told me, he was like, so what do you usually eat? And I told him, because I eat the same thing every prep. Like, nothing ever changed. I did the same amount of cardio. Ate the same food, literally, for years. Whoa. By the time he got me, I had been competing for 10 years already. Doing the same thing over and over again. Cardio, bunnying it out, just no carbs here and there, just...
No carbs?
I went no carbs for 2 months before my first Arnold. 2 months.
How? The way that you train, that's just pure heart.
Mind. Yeah, exactly.
You running on a heart,
That's
girl.
exactly what it was.
Straight up.
Yeah.
I got this.
That's exactly what it was. Because I was fighting it. Because even when I got my pro card, it was like mid preseason. You know, preseason workouts terrible. And I was doing no carbs then too. My coach was looking at me like, girl, can you focus on track? So literally she was like, if you do this show, you better win. Because it was to the point where we were running, I don't know if you've been to Franklin Field. It's huge. We were running the stadium. Up and down, up and down. I think I had
like the
whole stadium.
Okay.
I literally almost went to sleep. My coach had to physically push me up each stair.
You can't do that on no carbs.
No. I was literally dying.
Oh my gosh.
So Once I made it through that, I think that's what I got. My mind was super strong then. It's always been very, very strong. But once I went through that, so after he started, he said, I saw a post about with eating donuts. And I said, oh, I think I can eat some donuts. And that's what really sold me. I was like, shoot. So that's what he was like. He was like, you were just really under eating and overworking. So once I saw more food, we got more food, less cardio. I was like, oh.
He was like, I want some of that. Like, sign me up.
Yeah, and I never did cheat meals before him. Wow. When I got on a diet, I was on a diet. That was it.
It was.
That was it.
Yeah.
But I also had, like, for real off seasons back then, too. So, like, when I was eating, I was eating. So, it kind of just, I got more balance, and everything just became healthier. That's going to be the key. That key change that we made.
Wow. And y'all just been working together ever since.
Yep. We're on our 17th prep together now.
Wow.
That's a lot of preps.
That's a lot of preps. A lot of hours. A lot of reps. A lot of meticulous, regimented everything.
Yep.
Man. All right. So since we were on the topic of food.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that. What does your favorite home-cooked meal consist of?
It doesn't matter. I like food.
Just food.
I just like food. It really doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. There isn't anything like when you come home, like when you're around family, or like that your mom or dad makes that you're just No? I mean, I just assume Georgia.
My dad is the cook.
Oh.
He learned from his grandma and his mom.
Wow.
So he's the cook.
Does he have any special dishes that you're just like
everything he makes is pretty good.
Everything?
Yeah.
When can I come over?
You can come. Listen, I already told Gabriel, come on now. We can come out. I'll come out to the gym. No, like my grandma, she'll cook. She cooks everything. She makes these French fries.
Ooh.
They're like, but it's like old school grease. I'm talking about you put the fry in the thing and it just soaks.
Yeah.
Them shit's good. She does that. My daddy makes really good pancakes and salmon croquettes. You got a salmon croquette?
I've never had one.
Girl.
I'm not living.
Oh, girl.
You need to
You're
educate
not
me.
living. Okay, yeah. Come to Georgia. So, like, we have back at, in Christmas, that's when D give me, like, 2 back-to-back cheat days. So, one, we do a breakfast brunch where we have fried salmon croquettes, eggs, homemade pancakes, grits, toast, croissant. We do a whole spread.
Just carb city.
Just everything.
Oh, yeah. See, now we really are starting to understand the food festival.
Yes.
That's why you call it a food festival.
Yes. No, that's a cheat meal.
Oh, that's a cheat meal.
That's
My bad.
Meal. My festival is days work all day long. But that one meal is a cheat meal. My cheat meals tend to be like 3 portion sizes.
Man. But don't get it twisted, y'all. You gotta have this type of work ethic in order to be able to eat like that. Because Lord knows, if I would try to do that, I would just be like, "What's up, Sid?" Trying to like walk in, D would look at me like, "What the heck?"
Right. Exactly.
You ain't ever going to visit Sid again.
No, that's he does get me about that. I'm like, I'm sorry, it's not my fault. Don't follow me. I tell people, don't follow me. This is what I do.
Right.
Don't follow me.
Stay in your lane, right? Refer back to the beginning of the video.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, so another fun question. Name the top 3 people that you would want to meet in this lifetime. And like just sit down and just rap with them. Just talk.
I really don't have any.
Really? Wow. Like, even, like, maybe people that are no longer around, like, no. Wow. That's okay.
Yeah, I really don't.
When you say stay in your lane, she means I stay in my lane, blinders on.
Like, I'll read about them, but in terms of meeting them, I don't know. I've never been a meaty person. Like, you know how some people, like, they'll see celebrities or stuff and they'll walk up and talk to them? I've never been that person.
You just been like, oh, cool.
I literally just,
Yeah.
That's just how I am.
Yeah. Because, I mean, at the Olympia, there's always celebrities that come through. Like, you know, last year there was Shaquille O'Neal. The Rock is usually always there. But you're just like, I'm here to win.
Listen, we're all regular people. That's how I look at it.
I like it. So, what is your favorite sports memory?
I'd say my first top 5 finish at the O.
Really?
Yeah.
Give us the deets and the feels, girl. Set the story.
It's it's always funny because that whole year was a lot of history changing. So that's what I really appreciated about the whole experience, because that was the first year. The first year I made top 5 at the Arnold, but also it was the first time I made top 3 at a pro show. But not only that, it was history with 2 other women. So it was 3 women of color all at the same time. And I was the 3rd time we'd all placed top 3. Wow. So that was really rewarding for me. But on top of that, just in terms of making history in this sport within all the years of figure, that has never happened. You have never had more than 1 person of color in the top 5 at any show. Wow. So just to see that was really cool. But on top of that, I remember going into the O, and I always love people's projections of what's supposed to happen and who's gonna place where. And I'm always like, okay. That's literally always my reaction every single show. And every single show, people are always wrong. Yeah. So that show, I was supposed to get 4th, I believe, behind other champions, but I didn't.
Did not.
So that was my favorite one. That was when I really started getting the new level of confidence you need. It's different being. You can be a confident person in this sport, but until it is recognized by the judges, that's a different level of confidence once it's recognized.
That is so true.
That's a key thing. Like, people always say, "Oh, be confident in it." It's not that easy.
It's not.
Like, yeah, be a confident person. You need to be that before you get into this sport. Otherwise, you're going to be broken. But once you see your work really being highlighted, that changes the whole thing. Yeah. And then you just get on the path and you ride your wave.
Man. I'm just soaking it all in. I'm just like, wow. So, what advice would you give to other aspiring figure competitors? You know, like, I want to be, hi, I'm brand new, and how can I get, what advice can you give me when it comes to the start? You know, what it's kind of a loaded question. When it comes to the start of it, and then just how to keep pushing.
I'd say, well, the push part, it comes down to humility. If you're thinking you're the ish, you're going to stop working. Because you already got it, right? Right. You're already at your best. Right. So you're just going to be like, oh, I'm good. I could just coast.
But that's wrong. Yeah.
You should never think that. That's what people who came before me thought. So when you get that in your head and you're really just set on you're the best, you're the greatest, that's when your spot gets taken. So if you're always working, you're still working. Yeah. So you're guaranteed to be better than you were the last time. So now everything kind of just stays as is. Yeah. But if you're comfortable, you're setting yourself up for pure failure. Yeah. So I think that's the key thing of just really focusing on that, pushing yourself. But on top of that, I would also tell competitors to, on top of focusing on yourself, I would say a lot of people judge a lot of like every single pro show of who wins what and doing A, B, C, and D, and they try to base their body types off of that. Yeah. Without recognizing that everybody's body is different. You're not going to look the next pro. Focus on what looks good on you. Right. So if that's a certain amount of mass, if that's less mass, like I think a lot of people are trying to come out and be like mass monsters at this point without forgetting that it has to be shaped. Right. The muscle has to be placed properly. Otherwise, it's just slabs of meat. Right. So you got to take the time to build the muscle, because rush muscle looks different than mature muscle.
That's so true.
It's a different look.
Yeah.
Rush muscle also disappears faster when you're in practice.
So true.
So I think just maintaining the patience, doing the work, and building a body that will last is going to be the key thing for a lot of young competitors. Otherwise, you'll see a lot of people that compete for a year or two and then they're gone. And you're like, what happened? Yeah. I've been competing for 14 years straight, 2 shows a year. So it's a matter of taking your health into account, making sure your preps are as healthy as they possibly can. When it comes down to get into a certain level of body fat, yeah, your cardio going to have to go up a little bit just to create that deficit, because that's what science is. You're going to have to do it. Depending on your body, some people can have higher calories and get that quality of leanness. It just depends on what your preps are about. For me, my cardio is going to have to go up a little bit. Whether it's 10 more minutes or 5, it's still going to go up. Right. But it's just creating that deficit and really just enjoying your prep and I think too, also from the start, decide what type of athlete you want to be. And then that'll determine how far you're going to go and how you're going to do things and how your preps are going to look.
What type of athlete do you want to be?
I want to be a nice, healthy athlete who can last as long as I choose to last.
I like that. I like those words too, that I choose. Right.
When I decide to retire, it's not because I was forced out or my metabolism told me, hey, time is up. I choose to retire because it's time to retire and move on.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to hit the gym. I'm motivated. I mean, we are sitting, is it 23 days now away from Olympia? See, you just working.
Weeks.
Yeah. You're working. See, I'm sitting here still like a little kid, like, it's time. But I love that. And I just want to say thank you so much for sharing and opening up. And hopefully you guys got some of that insight. I mean, that was gold. Those were just golden nuggets. So if anybody is interested, I mean, you are a posing coach.
I am.
Right. And we do have the meet and greet happening at Olympia. So you got to come see Cyd in person. Come say hello to her. She is just as friendly, I promise. Don't let them lats on stage fool you. She may look like a beast.
That's the funniest part is when people meet me in person, like, oh, you're so small. I'll be like, I really think people think we walk around posed.
Yeah.
I'm like, you didn't realize some of us are bigger.
Yeah.
But a lot of us are not. Like, we're actually like just regular sized people.
Yeah.
And then we just pose and it makes us look bigger and then you let it go.
Girl, I seen them lats. It's like the Red Sea is just parting. I'm just like, wow. Well, you got it, guys. Cyd, you're going to look for her. Again, thank you so much for taking your time with us. We appreciate it, girl.
You're welcome.